All right, y'all. So we got another W for the good guys, right? So the Hurricanes ended up beating Bethune-Cookman 45-3, which honestly, I know this sounds crazy, but it was a little closer than I expected. Like, especially after seeing what Florida State did, seeing what Oregon did. I expected us to score like 60 something points, maybe like 63-7 or something like that. It's kind of what I expected, but come on, y'all. Can't be upset winning 45-3, even if it is Bethune Cookman. All right. So instead of going like play by play and talking about different things that stood out as far as different plays go, what I want to do today is actually talk about the positions. Whenever you win by this much, you really don't want to do too much praising. A lot of the times, the focus should be on things that you can do to get better, things that you can do to improve, pointing out things that maybe didn't look so great, right? This is the kind of thing that you want to look at whenever you win by 42 points. So what I'll do today is go by position, start with quarterback, then running back, and work my way down. I'm not going to go by position in defense. I'm just going to actually do the overall defense and talk about different people within the Hurricanes defensive side. Okay, so let's jump right into it. So we got Carson Beck ended up going 22 for 24, which was crazy. Ended up breaking a record, 15 completions in a row. So congratulations to Carson Beck on that. I talked about Carson Beck and related him to Tom Brady last time. And that's not saying he's as good as Tom Brady. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is he's not super athletic. He doesn't have the greatest arm. He doesn't have anything that's just off the charts. The dude just knows how to win football games. And that's what I mean when I compare him to Tom Brady. Um, what he did extremely well in this game, I thought, is he just took what the defense gave him every single play. He didn't force the ball down the field every time. Like we saw in the past, other quarterbacks might have been looking a little too far down the field and things happen, getting strip sacked and stuff like that. But I do like the fact that it appears like Carson Beck understands he's got talent everywhere. So just get the ball in their hands and let them make the play. It seems like he really understands that. So when you do have 15 completions in a row, you can't really be mad at that, right? But at the same time, I look at it and I go, a lot of those passes were like screen passes, 5 yard pass here. Not hating on them, but I see what happened, right? I understand what happened. But nonetheless, you can't be mad at 15 in a row. Congratulations, Carson Beck, for getting that record. Now I want to talk about Emory Williams. He ended up getting to the game, 8 completions out of 12 attempts, 77 yards, 6.4 average. I'm telling y'all, I know what we're going to do here. We're going to start romanticizing the idea of Emory Williams being the starter for the Hurricanes next year. And I'm telling y'all, don't fall for it. Please don't fall for it. My mom told us a story a long time ago, and I'm sure you've heard it before, about a man who was hiking up a mountain, and he's climbing up this mountain, and it's taking him forever to get up there. Then he sees a snake slithering up, trying to get up the mountain, but struggling. The snake looks at the man and says, "Man, I don't have legs like you. I can't get up to the top, but I need to get up there. Can you help me get up there?" And the man says, "I'm not going to pick you up because if I pick you up, you're going to bite me. You're a snake." And that snake was like, "Bro, I'm not going to bite you. Chill. Like, just pick me up and take me up there. Please, I really need you to help me." So the man's like, "All right." So he picks him up, puts the snake in his backpack. Once he finally gets up to the top of the mountain, takes the snake out, puts the snake on the ground, and before the snake slithers off, turns around and bites the human on the hand. And the man says, "You told me, you promised me that you weren't gonna bite me. What's up with that?" And the snake said, "You knew what I was when you picked me up." So I'm not saying Emory Williams is a snake. I think that's a little too far because he seems like a nice guy. But I'm telling y'all, we know what Emory Williams is. We've seen him at his worst, we've seen him at his best. And I believe more in the worst than what I've seen from him so far. So before everybody gets on this bandwagon of, man, he's looking a lot better, we should give him a chance, I'm telling y'all, no, he's not the answer. Okay. So let's go ahead and move right on past the quarterback position because I don't even care to talk more about that. But I do think Carson Beck played really well just because he just took what the defense gave him consistently. And sometimes that's what you got to do. All right, let's move on to the running back situation. Gerard Pringle got into the game, got a touchdown. I thought that was pretty cool. My man Mario Cristobal, I'm a huge fan, as y'all know. He is always recruiting. If you don't think that Gerard Pringle getting into that game and getting a touchdown wasn't part of recruiting, you missing the boat here. You totally missing it. For one, if you got somebody real young and you put them into a game, it shows other young folks like, hey man, he'll let young people play. That's a big thing that people are looking for right now is being able to get in the game as a freshman, not just using their first year as a red shirt and just sitting on the bench the entire time or not even suiting up. So the fact that he let him get in the game is a big deal. The fact that he scored a long touchdown makes it even better for other people who are coming in. Because you think about it, if you're a cornerback and you're considering picking a school and you watch that game and you like, well, that running back is a freshman and he got into the game. Cristobal might go ahead and throw me into a game as the corner next year. You never know. So my man is always recruiting. So shout out to my man Mario Cristobal. Huge fan. Um, I thought Pringle looked pretty good actually for the whole half that he played. Fletcher. So some of y'all probably not gonna like this take, okay? But the more I watch Fletcher, the more he concerns me. And I know that sounds crazy, but it kind of reminds me of I grew up playing basketball, so a lot of the analogies that I use are basketball related, but it reminds me of Kwame Brown. What the heck do I mean by that? So I have a cousin who's really good in basketball. He played against Kwame Brown in high school. And he was like, Kwame Brown was ridiculous. He like, I don't know how many points he scored. He scored like 40 something points on them. He said we couldn't stop him. Like he did whatever he wanted to. He scored every time he got the ball. We couldn't do anything with him. Kwame Brown was 7 feet tall, huge dude, and ended up being the number one draft. And he ended up probably being the biggest bust in the history of the NBA. So what does he have to do with Mark Fletcher? The reason why Kwame Brown was able to be so successful in high school and it didn't translate to the NBA is because he relied on his size so much that he overlooked a lot of the blemishes that he had when it comes to the fundamentals of the game. I watch Mark Fletcher and I look at his high school tape. He is so much bigger and faster than everybody. It almost came easy to him. And now he's at Miami. He's still big and strong as heck. Big, strong, and fast. That combination is crazy. But I think he's overlooking a lot of the fundamentals in the game of football just because of the gifts that he's been gifted with. So for instance, if you watch him play, he's running to the left with the ball in his right hand all of the time. And if you learn that in like 6th and 7th grade, if you're running to the left side of the field, the ball should be in the left hand. If you're running to the right side of the field, the ball should be in the right hand. He does this consistently. He's getting better at it, but I see him so often running between two defenders with the ball in one hand and not putting it away. That's how those fumbles happened last year. I see him he also seems like he doesn't have a great command of or a great feel for the field and everyone that's around him. If you remember DJ Dallas, he played a few years ago. DJ Dallas was a running back. I think he was number 13 for us. He ended up playing for the Seahawks. He wasn't the fastest guy, wasn't the quickest guy either, but his feel for where everybody was on the field was amazing to me. He wasn't real quick, but he put moves on people and make them fall down somehow. And I'm like, to be a running back for the Hurricanes, DJ Dallas was super slow and not quick at all, but he was incredibly effective because he understood leverage. He understood if a corner is crashing down on him from this angle, he knew just to take an extra step this way and then slice it back that direction, and this corner wouldn't be able to tackle him. He understood that stuff. And to me, watching Mark Fletcher play football seems like he doesn't grasp that very well. The last thing that I've noticed about Mark Fletcher is, and I know I'm like, if it probably seems like I'm just ragging a player who's really, really good, and that's not what I mean to do. But he runs straight up. He's a tall running back, and he runs straight up instead of getting down and getting more leverage against these linebackers and these defensive tackles he's running behind or running against. He runs straight up instead of just getting a little bit lower, which drives me crazy. And then the last thing I'll say about him on a negative standpoint is if you just watch him and compare him to somebody, another big running back, like let's say a Derrick Henry, you'll see him use his hands quite a bit. And what I mean by that is using his stiff arm ability. I don't know why, but Mark Fletcher never stiff arms people. Never. Just watch the game. Go back and look at the game. He'll be running and there will be nobody on the right side of him. And he'll have the ball in his, let's say if he has it in his right hand and there's a defender coming from the left, he just puts his shoulder down and just hits him. Instead of actually putting his hand up and just putting the guy down into the grass and keep running. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, man. It seems like when he should take one hand off the ball and stiff arm, he doesn't. When he should protect the ball with two hands, he doesn't. It's just, he's an excellent football player. Don't get me wrong. But those small details is what makes people, it takes him from being a good football player to an elite football player. And he's just not really channeling that stuff right now. And that drives me a little bit crazy. Okay, let's talk about the wide receivers. This is the category that I was most concerned about when we started the season, actually, was the wide receiver. Because there was so much talent that left the wide receiver room. I didn't know what to expect coming in. It looks like right now the top three receivers is C.J. Daniel, Malachi Toney, and Keelan Marion. It seems like those are the top three. And they're all three newcomers, which is crazy. I'm a little so let me say this. C.J. Daniels has been balling out. I've got nothing but praise and positive things to say about him. He is balling out. And I don't just mean like the one-handed catch that he had against Notre Dame or anything like that. He's just like, his route running ability is exceptional. He didn't score a touchdown last year, but I think he's got 2 this year already in 2 games. He stretches the field really well. If the ball touches his hands, he's going to catch it. C.J. Daniels has been playing exceptional. Also got to give huge props to Malachi Toney. To be a true freshman, especially a 17-year-old true freshman, playing at this level like that is crazy. And I don't think people really understand how difficult that is. Just think about when you were in the 7th grade, imagine playing against 12th graders. But that's tough to do, right? So the fact that he's 17 years old and he's playing against some people who are 21, 22 years old and he's playing this well is exceptional. It's tough when you're a freshman in high school playing varsity basketball or varsity football. So imagine what it's like when you get to a college, a major college, and you're playing against people who have the best weightlifting rooms you've ever seen. You're playing against people who have doctors and nutritionists who teach them how to eat and how to train. These guys have been doing this for 3 or 4 years ahead of you, and you're just getting on here brand new and you're beating these people. That is crazy work. So Malachi Toney, huge props to you, my man. You killing them right now. I'm super impressed. He had the most catches on the team again, had the most reception yards. He was 6 for 80. Malachi Toney, hats off to you, my man. You are killing them. So I don't really have a lot to say about Keelan Marion, but I will say I was like really, it's like the 3rd quarter when I had this big wave of concern that came across me. And I'm typically not a pessimist, believe it or not. You can ask the people that work with me in my businesses. I'm not a pessimist. I'm usually the optimist. But I had this big wave of concern that came over me whenever I was we were in the 3rd quarter. I'm watching the game, and I'm like, for some reason, Ray Joseph is just like, I thought, if you remember last year, I made a video before the season started, and I said he was going to be the X factor that nobody expected to do something, and he just blows up on the scene. He was the guy that I picked, and obviously it ended up not being him. So Ray Joseph didn't do anything in the first game. and he didn't do anything in the first half. I didn't even see him get on the field in the first half. So I'm like, I'm telling y'all, first thought I had probably like at the beginning of the third quarter, I was like, dang, bye bye Ray Joseph. Like I was like, he's out of here. Like, and I know it's only like a game and a half that had gone by at that point, but he just seems like he's got all this talent. He's real quick. He'd be hard to tackle in a phone booth because he's just so like he got this that quick burst. But for some reason, he cannot get on the field, man. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. He's not even doing punt returns this year. So I'm real concerned about that. I know he got into the game. I was glad to see that. He got 2 catches for 25 yards. I was happy to see him get into the game. I just don't know how patient he's going to be because I do think that he could be at least useful. You know what I'm saying? On a good, solid team. I would not be shocked if he ended up at SMU next year. Wouldn't be shocked at all. I honestly, to be honest with y'all, if they continue to go the way they've been going so far, I would actually be surprised. I would actually be shocked if he's not at SMU next year. That's what I'll say. If he's not at SMU next year, I will be shocked. If he goes to UCF, I'll be like, wow, I'm shocked he didn't go to SMU because that's just how things have been going. Anyone who's not happy with Miami because they're not playing enough, SMU begs them to come play, and before you know it, they're in red and blue, and they're out there playing. So the other person I had concern about was JoJo Trader because he just hasn't done anything this year. And I know he had quite a few injuries and whatnot. Quite a few injuries right before the season got started, all in the offseason and whatnot. But man, I was hoping that he would really get off in this Bethune-Cookman game. And the first half, I'm like, I don't even see number 1 out there. Like, where is he? Like, is he not on the? So then I started doing my Googles and whatnot, and I found out he just wasn't playing because he was hurt. I'm like, man, because this seemed like the perfect coming out party for him. What I don't like doing is I don't like to have players. I don't like to have like a certain style of play or a certain group of players playing in game 1, 2, and 3, and they're playing really well. And then right before game 4, when you've got a really big test coming up, it's like, hey, let's go ahead and activate this guy. Remember how good he is? Let's throw him into the mix. Let's put JoJo Trader in now. He's going to help us against South Florida. He's going to help us against Florida. Because once he does get thrown into that mix, then everybody's prioritizing like him getting touches. Everybody's considering the fact that maybe I should take a step back so JoJo Trader can get more in line on what's going on here. I don't want that to happen. I want whatever is working to continue working throughout the season. Remember last year when Bain didn't play the first couple of games he didn't play. And then when we threw him in, the defense, I'm telling you, just go and look. The game when he started playing, we were terrible on defense for the rest of the year. And I don't really think it had anything to do with, I don't think it had everything to do with that. But I do think some of that was like people saying, oh yeah, now Bain is back. That means we don't have to guard our receivers as much because he's going to get some pressure back there. And then when that doesn't happen, you get caught off guard because you were preparing for the wrong thing. So I'm just hoping that when JoJo Trader does get back into the fold, that it doesn't throw everybody off, that it doesn't make our quarterback Carson Beck start feeling like, oh, I need to get number 1 involved. I got to get number 1 a touch real quick. No, throw it to whoever is open. Whoever gets open, throw it to them. I just don't want, I think y'all can understand what I'm saying. I just don't want any confusion because a star player is coming back or someone that I believe will end up being a star player for us. It was cool to see Nakar get some touches in this game. How many catches did he get? Was it 2? Nakar ended up with 1 catch for 13 yards. So I was really happy to see that. I was glad to see Elijah Lofton get some catches. He almost got a touchdown and tricked it. He lost his footing, got a little too hyped and fell down. I thought that was pretty funny. I actually had to rewind it a couple times. He was laying on the ground looking like he went to kill himself. He was like, how did I not score that touchdown? So let's go ahead and move on to the defense. I'll tell y'all right now, my biggest concern for our Hurricanes every year is a team who plays what I call roach football or peekaboo football, however you want to describe it. What that means is when the guy gets the snap, and he just is like fake handing the ball off to everybody, he's fake passing it down there, and everybody on the offense takes off running in different direction like roaches. You don't know who got the football. You don't know if the quarterback is going to run that way. You don't know if the receiver got a jet run going that direction. You don't know if the running back is going up the middle. Everybody runs in different directions like roaches, and you don't know who's got the ball. When you have a quarterback that can actually use his legs and you play roach football, it terrifies me. Always has, always will, especially since we just don't perform well against it. Think about Georgia Tech. What was that coach's name? Was it Paul Johnson for Georgia Tech? I think that was his name. Yep, Paul Johnson, my arch nemesis. I'm telling y'all, I hated this dude. He ran the triple option. He's still alive, actually. I thought he was dead. I'm not gonna lie to you. He's 68 years old, so God bless him wherever he is. And he has the same birthday as my brother. But I despise Paul Johnson. And when he left, I was like, I'm so thankful we don't have to play against that roach offense anymore. Triple option. And I'll be danged if the next coach came in Georgia Tech and he also runs roach offense where you don't know if Haynes King is going to run up the middle or if he's going to hand it off to the receiver this way, he's going to hand it off. You don't know where the ball's going to go. So Paul Johnson leaves and then another roach offense player comes in, and it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Roach offense coach. So in this game, Timmy McClain was Bethune-Cookman's starting quarterback. He didn't want to run the ball. He wanted to sit back there and throw. He had 3 carries for 0 yards, so he didn't want to run the ball. But then Cameron Ransom came in. And I was like, this is going to be a really good test of how we're going to be able to perform against somebody like South Florida or somebody like Florida State. Why? Because both of those teams have Florida State is playing more roach offense compared to what South Florida's doing. But they both have like extremely athletic quarterbacks. Both of those teams do. So I wanted to see how we would look against Cameron Ransom once he got out there and started running around in circles. And I just wanted to see how it turned out. And there were a couple of plays that concerned me like crazy. But there was also one play that I was like, oh, thank you. They got that taken care of. Thank you so much. And what play was that? So remember when we was playing against Notre Dame and they scored that first touchdown, and the way that they got that touchdown, CJ Carr got the snap. He's running back. He's going zigzagging. He ends up breaking contain with one of the defensive players that was chasing him. He runs around the corner, runs up the field, and there's 8 defensive backs lined up in the end zone. And he looks this way, but throws it to the left. Wide open touchdown. So I'm thinking, if we have 8 defensive backs back there, there's no way that we should give up a touchdown, especially that wide open. That almost exact same scenario came up when Cameron Ransom, it was in the 4th quarter. I think it was like 6 minutes left. It was almost the exact same scenario. When Cameron Ransom is back there running around, we're trying to get him, can't get to him. He breaks containment, runs to the left, and there's plenty of guys in the end zone just lined up playing defense for the Hurricanes. He sees a guy that's open, throws it. This time we intercept it. So I was like, okay. So that to me made it obvious that the Hurricanes looked at how Notre Dame scored that touchdown and said, man, we have to base a line here. If we have 8 people stretched across the end zone, there is no way that somebody should be wide open anywhere in here. Just spread out and play the gaps. That's all you got to do. And when they got their interception, I'm telling y'all, I was too hyped. Y'all have been like, why are you that excited about this play in a game that's so like out of reach? And the reason why is because, like Jay-Z says, a loss is not a loss, it's a lesson. So as long as you like take something from something that happens bad to you, if you take something from it to make yourself better, by the end of it, you should be pretty near perfect, right? So the fact that we had that big letdown in Notre Dame, but they did this in Bethune-Cookman, it proved to me that they worked on it and they've improved their defense already. So that was a huge thing for me. Um, but it did concern me still that they were able to get some first downs when Cameron Ransom was in there. He ended up running 5 times for 39 yards. He had a long of 28 yards rushing. So I'm telling y'all, South Florida is no joke. I'm trying to tell people. People keep looking at this Florida loss and they saying, well, how? I see all over the internet. How did Florida let this happen? Was Florida at the sleeper? I'm like, I'm telling y'all, South Florida's pretty good. I've watched them play 2 times now. That team is not bad. They're pretty good. So South Florida is going to be what we saw Cameron Ransom. Just remember I said this while you're watching this South Florida game this coming weekend. South Florida is the Cameron Ransom Bethune-Cookman team on steroids. Their quarterback plays just like Cameron Ransom plays. As soon as he gets some pressure, his head goes down, he takes off running. But he'll run over you. It's a little different. So anyway, I'll do a video talking about South Florida later on. Next thing I want to talk about when it comes to defense is Ruben Hurricane Bain is getting busy. That dude, I've already apologized to him. I'm going to apologize to him one more time. Because I said in the offseason, I was not sure if his freshman season was just him benefiting off of people not scheming against him specifically. I figured he was a freshman. He caught everybody off guard. The teams that were playing against us when he was a freshman said, you got to watch this guy and this guy. Don't worry about that freshman named Bain. Don't worry about him. You can play him one-on-one. And I figured Bain was just getting off because of that. So then he comes back his sophomore season and didn't do too much because he was injured a lot and all that. So I'm like, do we believe his freshman year or do we believe his sophomore year? I don't know. But now I can tell y'all, this dude is a problem. And if he's not a top 10 pick in the draft, I'm going to be shocked. Same thing with Maui Noah. If those two are not top 10 picks, I'm going to be shocked. I don't think Carson Beck is going to be a top 10 pick. I don't even know if he's going to be a first round pick. But Maui Noah and Bain, top 10 picks. Those two are like, I see both of them being in the NFL and playing exceptionally well and considered all pro multiple years. I expect them to be in the NFL playing at least 10 years, both of them. Those two, Ruben Bain, I apologize once before. I apologize again for getting that so wrong. Bethune-Cookman was so scared of him the whole game. Like, I'm not one to sit here and act like I know everything about football. But if you know anything about football, you will know that almost every play that Bethune-Cookman ran, they were concerned about Ruben Bain. It was so obvious to me. If Ruben Bain lined up on the right side of the field, they would if they were going to pass the ball, it was a rollout to the left every time. And then if they were going to do a pass in his direction, let's say if Ruben Bain was lined up on the right side, if they were going to pass to the right side, they would always have an RPO set up. So Ruben Bain had to say, do I take the running back or do I take the receiver? Do I take the running back or do I take the quarterback? They wanted him to think about something rather than having him just line up against their tackle, run around him and tackle the quarterback. They wanted to give him either a rollout away from him or make him think about running back or quarterback. And then they would fake the handoff to the running back and they would throw a real quick screen pass or something. It was a quick little out if they were throwing to his side. They did that the whole game except I think it was in the third or the fourth quarter. I think it was the fourth quarter. It was a 3rd and 10. And I'm like, are these fools crazy enough to do just a regular drop back pass? And they did. 3rd and 10. They go back. He does a 3-step drop out of a shotgun. I'm like, these dudes are crazy. And sure enough, Bain got back there, tackled him, and I think he stripped him too. I think he strip sacked him. And when I say he got back there so fast, it almost seemed like the guy trying to block him was like a cone or something. Like he just ran right around him and got to the quarterback before he could even get his feet set. Quarterback didn't even get his feet set to throw the ball before he got sacked. So Bain is going to be a problem for the rest of this season, and he's going to be a problem for the NFL for the next few years. I'm telling you, just based on what I've seen these first 2 games. Cornerbacks. So the corners, I love the way that they're playing aggressive, especially like in the screen pass game, because this style of football that we're seeing that's developed over the last 5 years or so, especially in college football, it's heavy screen pass related. Like everybody's throwing screen passes like crazy. So the Hurricanes seem like they've adopted this mindset of getting really aggressive in the screen pass game, having the outside corner press against these teams that like to throw screen passes. You saw what happened against Notre Dame when we got the interception off the screen pass. So the outside corner presses up on the outside receiver because that's typically who's involved in the screen pass, or he's going to be blocking for it at least. In this game, I saw that happen a couple of times where we almost intercepted a screen pass, or we were able to actually break one up. So I thought that was crazy. I love the fact that we are super aggressive with it, but I'm telling y'all, and I know the coaches know this too, but the teams we playing against, obviously they watch tape and they look at they look at what you do all the time, right? And they say, if he bites on that when they play against us, we should do this for a touchdown. So I don't know which team. I'm thinking Florida's going to do it at least once. They're going to pump fake on the screen and have somebody do a roll, like a roll route on the outside, throwing a touchdown. That's what they're going to look for. So we just have to look for that. I don't know. I'm not a coach, so I don't know how to coach people up to watch for that. I don't know about any of that stuff. But I'm telling y'all, as the viewers, as fans, as supporters of the Hurricanes, do not be shocked when we see one of these quarterbacks in the next couple of games get the snap, fake the screen pass, and have the guy that's blocking the screen just take off, run down the field, trying to get a touchdown on that play. It's going to happen, either in South Florida game or the Florida game. You can mark this, and if it doesn't happen, call me crazy, but it's going to happen. I'm telling you right now. So, corners, please be on the lookout for that because it's going to happen. I'm telling you. The last thing I want to talk about is Marquise Lightfoot got to play. I thought that was pretty cool seeing him out there. The coolest thing about this actually was a personal thing for me. So it's kind of weird, I know. But if you remember, Marquise Lightfoot came in as a defensive end, super skinny. And I saw him in this game. He looked totally different. He's gained a bunch of weight. And I thought that was pretty cool. I'm not saying he looked anything like Jason Taylor looked when he played for the Dolphins or anything like that. But it's obvious that his arms and his legs are much bigger than what they were when he came on campus. I remember when he first signed, I'm like, that guy is a receiver, right? Like, he's a defensive end. So he was just like super skinny. The reason why I say it's a personal thing is that I'm 6'3", about 160. I've been working to gain weight for my whole life. If I don't eat 4 times a day, and no, I'm not sick, I'm healthy, so don't worry about that. Like, don't tell me I got a tapeworm or something. But if I don't eat 4 times a day, I will lose weight every day. I'll lose a pound. If I eat just twice a day, I'll lose 1 or 2 pounds in that day. Easy. If I used to like work all morning and look at my clock and be like, oh man, it's 1 o'clock. I haven't eaten yet. If I do that, I'm almost guaranteed to lose 1 or 2 pounds in that day. So my metabolism is crazy. So I can relate to what Marquise Lightfoot is going through. I had to work. I had to put an app in my phone. I had to eat 3,000 calories per day, plus work out every single day just to gain 10 pounds. And that was about 6 months that I did that. 3,000 calories per day, worked out once per day, lifting weights and all that stuff, over 6 months and gained 10 pounds. That's the most weight I've ever, that was craziness. I did that last year. So this is 10-pound heavier, Jordan, believe it or not. So I was 6'3", 148 pounds, healthy. I'm telling you, like, weight just falls off of me. So to see Marquise Lightfoot gain weight like that, I thought that was pretty cool because I know how difficult it can be. All right. So that's all that I got for y'all today, man. I'm really happy with what I saw from the Hurricanes putting up 45-3, getting that W. So far in this season, like, I'm just looking at what we are compared to, and I'll make a video about this pretty soon, but I'm just looking at what we are, and I'm comparing us to the other ACC teams and comparing us to the other Florida teams. And I'm telling y'all, we're in a good spot, man. Um, yeah, we're in a real good spot. I don't want to give too much on this because I am going to make a video where I just explain a little bit more in depth when I compare our Hurricanes against the rest of the ACC. But I like our odds, man. And of course, anything can happen in these games. But talent for talent, coach for coach, offensive line for offensive line, defensive line for defensive line. I like what we got compared to everybody else. And that's not just in the ACC. I honestly like what we got compared to everybody else in the country. And like I said, anything can happen in these games. Crazy fumbles happen, crazy tips and interceptions happen. I get it. But I don't know, man. I like what we got. I like what these coaches are doing. I like the trajectory that our quarterback is going in. I like the running back group that we have where Mark Fletcher's leading it. And then you got Brown coming in, and like we haven't even seen Jordan Lyle get off just yet. So like, man, and then I said I was concerned about a receiving core. I really like what they got going on there. Our tight end, Elijah Lofton, is going to be a problem once he gets really activated. And then the defense, I do believe it is improved. So we're going to see, man. We're going to see. All right. I'm going to leave it there because I want to make a video on that. So I'm going to leave it right there. But thank you for liking the video. I appreciate you subscribing to the channel. Like I say all the time, we're going to continue building this channel one like and one subscription at a time. You liking the video, you subscribing to the channel, I know it doesn't seem like a big deal because it's just a click of a button, but it helps me take care of my family even better. So I appreciate your support. Thank you for watching the video again. Take care. God bless. Peace.